want to fucking not do.
Okay, we're streaming live.
And now, start the podcast mid-word. And if we just keep talking, then we'll start in the middle of something. And
now we
started.
don't.
Have we started?
No, I didn't hear if we went live yet.
Did we start?
We're rolling.
Did we start? And we're okay.
Okay, and then we've been live.
Still live
for a few seconds. Live from the All Things Comedy Festival, everybody. It's the Nick America podcast with Nick Youssef. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
In front of a sold-out room.
Welcome.
How many people? I'm not telling you, but it's sold out.
All of them.
We've stopped letting people in. All right. I gotta do a read.
Okay.
It's right here. I already said we're at the we're live from the ATC pop-up. No, I didn't. We're at the All Things Comedy Festival, and we're recording live from the ATC pop-up podcast studio. We're in downtown Phoenix. We're across the street from Stand Up Live, and this festival is presented by Bud Light, Cityscape, and Tito's Handmade Vodka. Two things I can't drink. Have you guys had any?
Tito's? I've had Tito's before.
Not
this month.
Tito's.
Yeah.
What was the other thing?
Bud Light.
Absolutely.
Which I've had enough of in my life.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
To say that it's good.
Oh, yeah.
That's what my dad drank growing
Bud Light's
up.
fine. I like drinking like regular beers, and then once you're drunk, switching to Bud Light when it no longer matters.
It's like having it's like nostalgic.
You know?
Yeah. I think we're talking about the sponsor this way. Like, here's a
yeah, good point.
It was the official beer of my dad watching WWF wrestling growing up. Every time I think of Bud Light, I imagine him sitting there after work watching back when they called it WWF, watching that and being like, "Leave me alone until it's over."
Question?
Answer maybe.
Was your dad's favorite the Iron Sheik?
He's a fucking idiot.
That's a legit question. Who was your dad's favorite?
Oh, he was a huge Hulk Hogan guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then because he was so huge on Hulk Hogan, hated the Ultimate Warrior.
Really?
He'd get mad when he was on TV. Because remember when he took his belt?
Yeah.
He got legitimately upset. Like, it was awkward in the house. And I was so attached to it because we watched together, that when the Ultimate Warrior beat him, I remember going into my room and then crying for Hulk Hogan.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I was also 9. But
I was gonna guess 30.
Yeah. This was a few years ago.
He had that fallback plan though, where he drove a speedboat. Remember that show?
No, what was that?
You remember it, Ray?
When the Ultimate what?
No, Hulk Hogan.
No, I don't
drove a
remember
speedboat and solved crimes.
Thunder in Paradise.
Thunder in Paradise.
Really?
Serious?
Yeah.
That's a show.
I don't remember that at
With
all.
Jack Lemmon's son was the other his
Really?
co-star.
Good old Aaron coming in strong.
The
Dude.
Hulk Hogan was the most marketable of all the wrestlers of all time. Maybe not now anymore, actually.
He took down
But
Gawker.
I mean, he
Still got power. He took down Gawker.
He
dude.
created the mold
Yeah.
for
$10 million,
how you
right?
have to become like a. I mean, he went viral before there was going viral when it came to wrestling and all that sort of stuff. You know, he set the mold for.
Yeah.
Like
Even
all these other wrestlers, like, all I got to do is
do what Hulk Hogan.
Hogan
I wonder
did.
how they decided.
Yeah.
Now that you know it's all set up, obviously.
Right.
But the outcomes are set up.
What?
I wonder how he's like, hey, I'm going to be the guy. Hey, let me hear this pitch. Listen, I'm going to be the guy who just always wins. Right? I won't really have any special thing, but I'll just never lose, and then I'll be a huge champion.
Yeah.
And then they were like, yeah, okay, you be that guy.
Don't they just gauge it off like live popularity? I think that's how they used to do it. People like, all right, everyone's clearly cheering for this guy.
You got to do promos.
So I think people like they pitched characters and stuff. Like, all right, here's my thing. I walk around with a 2x4. I love America. And they're like, all right, that works right now.
How
Let's
was
see
he
how
not
that
the
plays
champion
out.
We'll call you Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Oh,
That
he
sounds
would
great.
be now.
He would be
probably
now.
would be. Yeah, he'd be like the populist candidate
Yeah. What's up, Brunson?
of wrestling.
Hey, what's up, guys?
But yeah, I cried when the Ultimate Warrior lost. I'll never forget that.
One.
Or won. Yeah, when Hulk Hogan lost.
And now they're all dead.
Yeah.
Except Hogan.
Dude,
probably dead inside.
how many homeless people have you seen walking at you?
Here?
Yeah, and like
They're not as aggressive as they are
but
in
they
Los
look like
Angeles.
they're about to be when they're like walking down the street suddenly, and like they're taking their shirt off just because it's hot, and I'm like, here's where I die.
Here's the difference between
Downtown
Phoenix homeless people and Los Angeles homeless people. I was smoking a cigarette outside the hotel, and this homeless guy came up to me, took a cigarette butt out of the ashtray, and I'm like, oh, he's about to ask me for a cigarette. And he goes, can I get a light? And I'm like, oh, you just want me to light your fucking shitty half cigarette? That's a homeless person in Los Angeles would have asked me for a cigarette and then for money and then maybe a place to stay.
We were ignoring one this morning, and he was just nearby us, me, Eleanor, Danish O'Neill, and Ian Edwards. And then he comes over to make his pitch, you know, and he goes, hey, listen, I got this hoodie. I want it zipped up. I've got one arm. Can you help me?
Is that true?
Yeah. And we all looked and we're like, I don't know.
You guys paper, scissors, rock to see who helps this guy?
And then Ian was like, okay, that's fair. Move your hands out of the way. I don't need to touch you. And then he fucking zipped it for him. There was a moment where we're like, I'm not positive.
Yeah, I feel bad about that because, I want to help somebody, but I also I don't want your fucking bum cum on my hands or whatever. So I'm like, I'll light your cigarette for you. You're not going to touch my lighter.
Yeah.
But then he kind of does that move, like, let me touch your hand to kind of prevent the wind. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
it's
not
lit,
a windy
it's
day.
lit,
It's not a windy day.
It's lit. Let's not have any interaction physically, but I'll help you.
Yeah. I want to know why that guy didn't have a pullover hoodie.
Well, he got that one?
Yeah.
I mean,
I guess
was
it's
shopping.
probably
because
he
it's
found it.
100 yeah. One, he found it.
Yeah,
Two,
hey,
it's
well,
all
yeah.
100 degrees every day here.
Yeah.
Zipping that open might be.
The barista was telling me down the street that the homeless population triples once it gets to cooler weather, because she was like, this is a great outdoor living city.
Really?
Yeah.
I would imagine.
And you go to the park and there's 75 homeless dudes.
Where do
just
they go
chilling.
before? Is it shelters in the summer
I
here?
think they migrate like birds. They just travel
possible.
around to different
Right.
yeah.
From
Go
reservations.
south for the winter. But
Yeah.
by
They
the
go to
time they get there, they
California.
just have to leave.
In Canada, they got the 4-month homeless native.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, because they get the money from the government, and they're like, it's summertime. I'm sleeping outside and doing all the crack.
Wow.
Yeah.
All the crack.
Yeah.
What do they do the rest of the time?
They just live in the res.
Right.
Yeah,
I don't know. What's a res?
reservation.
Oh. Like a homeless reservation?
Nope.
Oh.
Indian?
Like
Yep.
an Indian?
Really?
Yep.
Wait, really?
So it's Native American or
Dude,
Native
Plan B,
Canadian
Plan B.
Americans, whatever
Yeah,
they call
First
them.
Nations. First
What
Nations.
do they call them there?
First Nations.
First Nations is what they're called.
Yeah.
So and then it's 2/3 First Nations and then a third of homeless people.
No, they become the homeless.
Oh.
They're like, cool, we'll get our government money for them giving us smallpox.
Oh.
Take that money, turn that into good times.
Interesting.
Yeah, and they go down by the river and shit, and they're sleeping outside or outdoors all day. But then, September comes around, and it's like, all right, back to homes.
Have you done drugs on an Indian reservation? Was that you?
No. No, that wasn't me. Who?
I feel like you're not sure.
I would had to think about it. I mean, I've smoked weed probably nearby one.
But don't people go to those reservations and do peyote and all kinds of
yeah, no, I never-
those
I
sorts
never-
of
no, I never did
maybe
that.
that was Dunkin'.
That
You know,
seems
like
cool.
hot tents
That seems
and
like
shit.
Dunkin'. That seems
That
like
is
Dunkin'.
a Dunkin' thing.
Yeah, I want
I'm
to know.
not saying
if
he
it's-
did it, but it does.
Is it
Stinks
le-
of Dunkin'.
He's been
Yeah,
offered
it
it
d-
before.
yeah, yeah.
I'm sure, 100%. Yeah,
He's
yeah,
thought
yeah.
about it.
It's probably being offered it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably at one right now.
Fitting
Dude,
into
I'm
his
sleeping
schedule.
in a hot tent, buddy.
I wonder if you can you can do whatever. Is that basically sovereign nation shit where you go there and do whatever you want?
Yeah, you can blow up fish with dynamite, hunt them that way. Do whatever
Do
you
they
want.
really? Where they just drop a dynamite in a thing and then just fish
No, and
rise
then
up and they
then
just scoop up
collect
with a
them.
net?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's so illegal
the
in the United
easiest way
States.
to-
It's
yeah,
so
yeah,
illegal in the
yeah,
United
yeah.
States. And the fans are packing.
We were.
in.
They do
Yeah,
that in
or people that
Indonesia.
heard to register.
They do that in Indonesia, and we were scuba diving. You could hear
Yeah.
a boom go off,
Wow.
and it was like, yeah, they're dropping dynamite.
Would that
into fish.
sonically hurt? If you were underwater, would you feel that
Sound carries amazing underwater. Mm-hmm. So you're like, where's that? But it's like 2 miles away.
No way.
Yeah,
Whoa.
Wow.
yeah. It carries real well. You just go like this and something, and people are like, what?
So when you're underwater, you
you
were underwater, and then you would hear the dynamite go off like a mile away.
I don't know how far away, but they're like, it's not close.
What did
Whoever
it seem
struck-
like when you were underwater? How did that sound?
It was like this.
Idiots.
Fucking dumb.
I'm like, is he really gonna be able to pull off some impression?
I thought I
with
might.
this?
I thought I could. I
That
couldn't.
Coke came in handy.
Yeah.
What was it feeling like?
I was excited for that impression. I'm like, wow, he's got this down.
know,
He's been
yeah.
working on this for a couple months.
I
but
went
no.
into it. I went into
Yeah,
it thinking like I'm gonna nail this, and then halfway through, I'm like, there's no way I can make it sound like
Yeah.
that, like underwater dynamite.
I like the commitment of I know how this will go, but no, I got nothing.
Did
I
you
got
ha-
nothing.
Did you have to answer for America a lot when you went overseas?
Everybody loves America overseas.
Really?
That's bullshit. What people say. They
I-
all love us. We have the best fucking movies, great
Yeah.
music, good fashion.
No, I mean this year. I'm not talking about
Most people have just heard of who our president is.
Okay.
They don't know anything about him. They know we don't like him. That's
Right.
about it.
But there's no head shaking or haha, now it's your turn. that kind
No,
of
they
thing.
all have crooked people too. Jacoby in Indonesia. He sold off one of their islands to China
Yeah.
for his own money. They teach all their kids. They got 17,000 whatever islands, the exact number, and now it's one less because their fucking leader sold one.
Really?
That's like in
Yeah.
America where they're like, how many stars are on the American flag? 48, 52.
somewhere around there.
Yeah,
right?
I know.
Does it change?
Does a Louisiana
Yeah.
Purchase count as a
do
star?
do we ever lose and gain them?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would impress people out there. They'd be like, well, we have a lot of islands here. I'm like 17,347. They're like, what? How do you know that?
Wow.
It's called Google.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, not for fucking him. He's got
That's true.
like a sketch pad or whatever now.
I know,
to
yeah.
deal with shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, are you ever going? How are you with that? Are you ever going back
Smartphone?
to a smartphone?
I don't know. My life.
Because
our
I don't
life's
think
better
any
now.
of us thought it would last this long.
I didn't think I'd make it to a year.
I didn't either. Especially
Yeah.
like 6-8 months. Like he would hang out and he would like give a tongue beating, ear beating to people
Yeah.
about how like, oh, I don't need it. I don't know. But then when you're with him, he's like, oh, let me Google something real quick on your phone. I'm like, oh, you
I
can't have your
know.
cake and eat it
But
too.
Yes, I can. Why not? You all have fucking cake. Give me some of your cake.
yeah, I know.
I don't need to carry on a whole cake.
yeah.
At this point, it's like it's almost inspiring. I'm like, maybe I should downgrade.
I thought of just getting rid of my
Yeah.
data plan, so I could do it when I'm around Wi-Fi. I don't need it any other time.
Yeah,
What do you really need it for? Take pictures? Take them. You can still take them.
yeah. I kind of want to do it because I'm slowly like deleting social media apps and things like that, and like removing myself from all that, and it feels fucking good.
It feels good. I got banned from Facebook once because I think Thibault took Tripoli's phone, and you know he was like, I love big black cocks.
Yeah.
And then so I saw that and I posted on his Facebook page. I was like, oh, here, man. And I just saw a guy fucking holding this hog.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, you must love this.
Looked
Here you
like
go.
he
Happy
caught an
birthday.
anaconda.
Yeah, it was massive. And then Facebook's like, you're banned. I'm like, what am I banned for? And then they like, private messaged me that. Like, remember
Yeah.
this? I'm like, all right, fair enough.
How long was that ban?
Yeah, I thought it would be forever. And then I felt free. I felt
Yeah.
free. And then like a week later, like, all right, we'll let you back in. Don't do that anymore. I was like, okay. And then it was just back to this fucking prison.
Yeah. I want to like maybe it's hard because you can't fully remove yourself because you're like, all right, well, what if I come to like a festival like this? I gotta.
Especially with what we do.
Yeah, you
it's
wanna
hard
tell
to-
people,
Dope
but-
outfit.
I can't remember the last time I went online and didn't feel like depressed or like everyone's like fighting and yelling
Everyone's
at each other
fighting.
constantly.
The best possible is some douchebag saying, I have the best wife. Here's 5 great years with you.
Yeah.
Like publicly.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Which why even do that?
I mean, but now
Why
you
even do that?
now you look forward
That's
to
the
those.
best. That's the best possible scenario from that.
Now
Here's my
I
dumb,
look
fucking
forward
ugly
to that.
kids.
I go, oh look, someone like being joyful about fucking something,
Yeah.
even if it's like a plate of food or like their child, as opposed to like, here's why you're wrong about everything that's ever happened.
It's rare. Like, I had so much fun at the Yankee game. It's just rare that
Yeah.
you get some fun shit like that.
Well,
you
and
know?
you'll.
That's how it started, though.
I had
Yeah.
fun at
So
the
it started
Yankee
with
game,
that.
and then the reply is like, how can you have fun at a time like this?
We're
And
at
then
war
it's
with 7
a
countries.
thread about
Exactly.
why you're
Yep.
a piece
And
of
that's why it
shit.
sucks. That's why it sucks.
Threads have ruined Twitter.
Yeah. Facebook.
And the last year and a half of like election coverage and stuff, and Facebook. Everyone.
I like Metzger's theory on Facebook. That's why I like Facebook over Twitter, is because he goes, on Facebook, I write something big, and then you, because you're a no one, get an itty bitty response way at the bottom.
Yeah.
He goes, on
Right.
Twitter, it's all even spaced.
Yeah.
So he goes, you have the same power as I do. No, not cool. So he just stays
Yeah.
on Facebook.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
But then you still have to see the replies and engage.
Sort of.
You know?
Yeah. It's just done. It's
try not
horrible.
to.
And you can't say no to it. So,
Yeah.
like, what are you going to do?
I've
Get
like
off it.
the first handful of years of Twitter were like for
For jokes,
to
for
me,
fun.
yeah, everyone's having a good time,
Yeah.
and the last few have been like the stars of Twitter now are like journalists.
Ugh. Sarah Silverman hasn't written
You
a
know?
joke in 4 years. She just
Yeah,
all political stuff.
she's saving the world.
Yeah.
And you're almost like, it's like irresponsible among fans. It's like, hey man, can you write something serious? It's like, I mean, I went to community college, so no, I can't.
I don't know anything
Yeah.
about
I don't know international politics as well as I like to think I fucking do.
it.
Yeah. Hey, you're barking up the wrong tree here. I
Yeah.
talk about my dick every Tuesday from
Yeah.
11 to 1.
Yeah, you
on
have a
all things
PhD
comedy.
in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
And
guys
that
see
being
it? You guys are normcore people, right?
What is that? What?
Like, you're not like comics or artists or anything, are you? You're our comic.
He's a comic.
All right, I'll forget you. You guys, do you see like Facebook being too bothersome? You don't use it. All right, well that's good. Well, this aside was
Well, then don't
worthless.
follow us.
I mean, they got to think it was probably useful. It brought him here.
Indirectly, at least.
Yeah.
Indirectly, at least. What was your gag that you were mad about earlier? You had a Coke that you had.
No, I
upside
gotta
down
give it to
thing?
fucking Benson. He needs to get a gift for his stupid
But you
show.
got another one.
Yeah, I got another one. Fine.
So then what's the problem?
No, it's over.
Yeah, be
Yeah.
cool then,
I wasn't
bro.
mad about it anymore.
Yeah, I feel bad energy.
You had a little bit of a
No,
snap.
no, you're both
Yeah.
wrong.
Sober Ari's very like temperamental.
Sober Ari is snappy.
Oh yeah.
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 Sober,
Yeah.
everybody's
So-
snappy.
Sober Ari is
Yeah.
not relaxed at all.
Sober
Yeah.
American is snappy.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
Yeah. A simple question is like, wow, now I know all your feelings.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, it's never like no. It's like no. It's just
Yeah.
like-
Yeah.
So you're gonna go right back to.
I never intended to do this. It's not like I'm trying to better myself.
I'm proud of you for doing
Yeah.
it and sticking to
Don't
your
be.
guns and having the integrity to actually do it.
On the last day though, you're gonna just get as high and drunk as possible. What's the plan?
No, I'm not gonna try to like throw up. I'm just gonna like drink. I'm just gonna drink again. It's fun to drink.
Yeah.
You know, when I'm with my friends and like they have a nice scotch I like, I'm like, I want a glass of that. I don't need 7 glasses.
What do you miss the most, like in order, like I miss pot, or I miss booze, or I miss a drink after a gig, or I miss waking
When I do
baking.
like a bunch of sets in New York,
Yeah.
like 5-6 sets in a night, and then just having a glass of wine or a glass of scotch at the end.
Like at
The
a bar,
stand-
or like
at the
when you get
stand-
home,
At the
or-
stand, just
uh-huh.
like chill. I'm like, oh, let me just fucking enough travel from club to club and just like
Yeah.
relax for a
Yeah.
second.
You miss the end of the night drink.
Yeah.
Yeah, the unwind.
Or whenever I smoking weed, to be like, yeah, sure, I'll smoke with you guys. When Soda or Big J are like, you
Yeah.
want some? And it's like, yeah, for sure, I do want some, but I can't have any.
That's what I miss. That's the one thing I miss about drinking is
What?
like that
Camaraderie?
like the unwind thing, or it's like,
Oh,
oh
yeah.
yeah, everyone's going to like a happy hour, let's have a good time. But like every once in a while, I'm like, you'll see someone like chilling at the end of the night, like how you're describing, and have a drink, and I'm like, every once in a while, I'm like, that would be nice. But for me, it would be like the next thing I know, I'd be like, how did I end up in this chick's apartment? Like, where am I? And it's like fucking 9
Yeah.
a.m. You know,
Oh, yeah.
and it's just not worth it.
Why can't we just be fucking moderate once in a while?
Some people aren't wired that way.
It's a discipline.
yeah,
But same as that phone. It's like,
yeah.
why
Yeah.
can't I just check
They're
it
all
4
rabbit
times a
holes.
day?
They're deep rabbit holes.
Yeah, and we
It's
have
like-
no like, there's no fucking rules or boss over us a lot of the time to be like, don't do this at this time. And if you can't control yourself that well, then you know, no one's gonna be there
Yeah.
to
And I
say,
think,
hey man.
I think everybody has friends that have gone off the deep end of like, you
Yeah.
know, can't stop looking at their phone, or can't. I have friends that I don't
Yeah.
even know what their eye color is.
Right.
Triple
I
A.
know at the top of their forehead.
Yeah.
He's one of them. He's
I
one of
know,
them.
I know everyone's balding pattern and no one's eye color. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Yeah. It's like the lost art form is a conversation. Is this
For sure.
And I think that's why it's so podcasts are so captivating to people, because they're listening to people being forced to have a conversation,
Yeah.
and then they're listening to it and they're like, oh, I remember conversations, as they're lining to it and looking at it on their fucking phone,
Yeah.
and not
distracted with, like,
not
stuff
actually
popping up.
organically having one.
I know.
Rogan was saying he's not addicted to his smartphone, and I was like, dude, I haven't had a full meal with you in 10 years.
No way.
Yeah, without
He's
you
always
looking
on it?
down. Yeah, come on, give me a break.
Wow.
My favorite thing to do is when people say like, just control it, just don't check it that much. I'm like, okay, and then I wait for a moment where they're not supposed to be checking their phone, and they know it, like an agent or something or a club owner that's in the room
Yeah.
checking. You know, when you're like, you know, you shouldn't be doing this right now, and I just go over their shoulder, and then I just come behind them and I just go, addict. And they're like, no, I need to do it for this. Sure.
Well, yeah, because there's always a reason you need to be doing it
Yeah.
in your mind.
Everybody's busy.
In your
I
mind.
I leave it in the car or something.
really?
Now. Yeah. Or
That's
if I'm
smart.
gonna sit down and like write or do something, I'll go and leave it at home. Because it's too, or because you tell yourself, oh, I'll go to a diner, a coffee shop with no Wi-Fi, and then you have your phone, which has all the internet. I leave it at home, and then I'll sit there, and then you'll like have a conversation with somebody.
yeah.
You know, talk to the waiter.
I was
talk to,
doing a
like,
gig in
person the booth
I was doing a
next to
gig
you.
in Chicago, and I didn't take an Uber. I took a cab, and I
Yeah.
left my phone in the cab. Which you leave your phone in an Uber, you can easily get that back.
Yeah.
You leave your phone in a cab, and you're like, oh shit.
I just
And like,
donated
oh,
the
what
cab
cab was
phone.
it? A
Yeah,
yellow
a
one.
yellow one
in
with
a
a ethnic guy
third biggest
driving
city
it.
in America.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it was gone. So for like about 18 hours, I had to not have a phone, and my phone vibrated in my pocket 40 times in those 18 hours. By the way, there was no phone in my pocket. Like my left
Yeah.
testicle just vibrates every fucking 40 minutes
Yeah.
somehow.
How is
or
everybody
something.
okay with that? Does this think it's weird? But
I would
like,
go
no,
in
what
my
are you gonna
pocket
do?
and I'm
It's
like, oh, that's right, I don't have a phone. I probably did that 30 times in those 18 hours
Yeah.
till I got a new phone. Oh shit, oh, that's right, I don't have a phone.
You know what I did? I was on.
I felt like I was dead. I felt like I was a ghost. Like, can anybody see me?
Yeah.
Am I still alive?
I was on a hike a few days ago, and I have my phone in my pocket, and it'll like sway around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the shorts are light or whatever. And I was walking, and I didn't feel it in there, and I was like, "Fuck!"
I
And
died.
I started.
I just died.
I started to turn around, and then I looked in my right hand, and I was holding it.
Oh, I've done that move before,
Yeah.
where I'm leaving my apartment. I'm like talking to somebody. I'm like, I can't find my
Yeah.
fucking phone. They're like, you're on it. And I'm like,
Okay.
oh, that's right. Thank you.
Stupid. But it's that kind of shit that makes me go, I can leave this at home for the afternoon and not worry about an Instagram comment or who's texting. Or
But then,
Yeah.
like, Weinbach doesn't even have a phone. He just has a home phone.
Which is fucking insane.
And
how did he get here?
He says he doesn't miss anything. He prints stuff up.
How does anybody know that he's alive?
Yeah,
Quest,
right, yeah.
You know?
Is he alive?
Is he cared about?
He gets by, though.
Yeah.
He gets by. He'll email you back tomorrow.
Sure.
He'll call you when he gets home.
Not only get by, he's a great person to have a
insane.
goddamn conversation with.
Sure, yeah,
Because
yeah.
he's talking to you, not everybody else in the world who he has never met before.
Dude, we talked about racist dogs yesterday for 40 minutes.
You and Weinbach?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For real. And it's
What?
because we neither
German
of us took out
Shepherds.
our
I assume you mean German
For sure,
Shepherds. Yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
sure. The most racist dogs.
Yeah, of
possible.
course.
Yeah,
I
when
mean,
Freddie
they were
Lock-
born.
when-
They were born to
yeah.
hate Jews.
When Freddie Lockhart's
Yeah.
dog died, I'm like, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry about your dog. He goes, no, you're not. You know that dog hated you, and you hated him.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, yeah, he barked at me a lot.
Funny.
Yeah, it's in his DNA.
Yeah.
It's in his DNA.
He goes, the dog was like, you seem cool, but I think I'm supposed to bite you.
I remember one time, this is probably like right when like texting started, and everybody had like flip phones and like the
He was the worst.
Motorola
On flip phones
Razor.
texting, Youssef was the worst.
Wait, why?
I don't know why. You were the worst. You're the first one to embrace it fully, and you were like,
Yeah.
I'm texting, man. I can't talk to you today.
Okay.
You embraced it hard.
Texting.
Texting
I
on
remember
flip
calling
phones.
you one time. You go, hey,
loved
bro,
it. You
text me
loved
back.
it.
I don't talk on the phone anymore.
Boom.
Thank
boom,
you.
Fuck
boom,
you. I never said that.
Boom.
Fuck.
I never said
I'm talking to Duncan Trussell. We're about to go meet at who's the guy that like BJ Novak.
Okay.
It was his birthday party.
Okay.
So we're gonna go to that, and he's gonna come pick me up. But while I'm talking to him on my flip phone, I'm urinating in my apartment, and I'm trying to wrap the call up, and I go, hey, bro, by the way, this is what I think about you, and I flush the toilet and hold the flip phone right by so you can hear the toilet flushing, and then I hang up on him, and when I do, it shoots like a pog. It shoots out of my thing and goes right down the thing, and it's just completely gone.
As it's
and
flushing.
Like, and
Wait, it
and it's
flushed completely down?
completely gone. And I go,
Worst time
oh no, this is not good.
That's
How am I going to know that he's here to pick me up? Like, I don't even know what to do about this.
Yeah.
But dude, those phones.
And plus, you were out $30.
Exactly. Which at that point in time and this
That's a
point in
lot.
time is a lot of money to me.
Right. Those phones were indestructible though.
Oh, yeah.
Like I wish they'd
Not
make,
that one.
Well, you don't know. It
No.
probably fucking came out in like an ocean in
let's
Malaysia.
just call that a
and
lost
some
phone.
dude's using it right now.
Some
Like,
dude's like,
perfectly
"Hello?
fine.
I don't
Yeah,
know,
it's a free
Duncan."
phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Duncan's like calling back. There's no Duncan here.
Right now. Like, I get that phone back now, and he's like, buddy, are you there?
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, it used to be bad. Remember when Fun put on that concert at the House of Blues, that free concert?
You were so mad at me.
So mad because they were like,
the
would you guys
Blues.
get off your phones? And I remember you looking up going, no.
Okay, here's-
And then just fucking going right
That's
back
not
to it.
because I'm addicted
They
to my
put on
phone.
a free show. They were putting
Okay.
on a good show, and no one was into it.
No, I'm addicted to good music, and Fun is a bad band.
They have good songs. You know
No,
they have good songs.
They don't have
They-
You
good
don't,
songs.
you don't understand it because
and here's why. Here's
you
why.
are not young.
Yeah, that's you don't even. That was a better rendition than they did the night at the fucking. So here's
It's not
what the
we
guy,
are young. It's you are not young.
Yeah.
The complete opposite song.
The dude at the concert like was barely trying, and he was wearing fucking flip flops and shorts and shit. It looked terrible. And then he
That's what I'm
stops
wearing.
halfway through a
So
song.
he's dressed like Ari.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
He stops halfway through a song and goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, you guys not enjoying this free concert? We're almost done." I'm like, "Don't be a fucking pussy. Rock harder."
Nobody was into it. You wouldn't have noticed that they
no,
did.
when he
You
did
were on
that,
your
I was
phone
like,
the whole time.
I tuned out after that. I'm like, "You are a coward. You shouldn't be on stage."
Oh, man.
And then I went.
Coward's
into
a
my phone.
bold statement.
What was that guy's
Yeah.
name, the lead singer? He started his own thing.
I don't know.
He did?
Yeah, he started his own thing. You could tell they were going to do it because he went to the
he
Hall
was-
of
they were
Fame thing,
so bad.
and then he played it on his own. They put his name there. I'm like, he's about to launch his own fucking band.
Wait, did he?
Yeah.
I remember one of the other
know his
guys
name?
from Fun ended up becoming like he started producing a lot of Taylor Swift's music, and then became like a fucking huge producer. But
Maybe
I don't
that's
know know what happened to the singer.
That's why he didn't go anywhere because he wasn't producing
Yeah.
the songs.
Hopefully he's making coffee somewhere in a coffee shop
You
in
hated
Brooklyn.
him. God.
They were
But you
so
seem to see-
bad.
Wow, never seen him live.
So
but
just leave.
They got a couple
so just
catchy
leave.
songs.
So why do you stay there fucking intentionally not paying attention to them?
Because I was hoping that he'd look over and see someone like texting on his phone with like a blue light on his face, and be
Maybe he
like-
was texting somebody.
and then
"Get
he'd
me the
stop
fuck
again and
outta
go,
here."
"I'm gonna leave now because I'm a sad rock star."
I'm rich and talented.
I know. I should have thrown. That was a heavy phone. I should have thrown it on stage.
That's my walk-up music. Whenever people ask me about walk-up music, that song One Foot, it's the best.
Which one?
One
Yeah,
Foot.
yeah, yeah.
By who?
Fun.
Fun.
Oh.
You probably don't know that song because you were on your phone the
Yeah,
whole concert.
I couldn't hear it over the
Yeah.
the clicking of my phone.
These
Turn
guys
the clicker on.
suck.
Yeah.
They hadn't even started yet.
Yeah, that was a bad band. Have you listened to the new War on Drugs record?
Is it good?
That's a great
Yeah,
album.
Oh,
it is a good album.
Yeah.
Good album.
Isn't your podcast about immigrants?
Yeah, it's about the ethnic experience, immigrants and stuff, but
Not always.
This is not. Yeah. At first, I was like, well, let's just kind of talk about like being in Phoenix and seeing what happens, and then.
And then we can get to the immigrants and how they should get out of our country. No offense, Nick.
Right. Hey.
Right.
Your boots
No,
are made
but
for
we can do a hard segue into
Climbing.
that if you want.
Boots are made for wall climbing.
What? I don't know. We've known each other for 15 years now, I think. But
You and I, 18 almost.
No, really?
Yeah.
How old are you now?
35.
I met you when you were 18.
Yep.
You were 18 at the store
I
trying to
met
get
you
in.
when you were 19.
And you wouldn't allow me in. I remember that.
The rules were you're not, and I was happy to enforce those rules.
Yeah. I know I've said this before, probably on podcasts, even with you, but like you came up to me as I got off stage doing the open mic. I think for the first time at the Comedy Store, and I walked off stage, and it probably went sort of maybe okay.
It was good for open mic, bro.
Yeah, and I felt kind of good. And Ari walks up, Comedy Store shirt. He's like, "Hey man, are you really 18 years old?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "It's a 21 and over club, so I'm gonna have to ask you right outside." And he fucking walked me outside,
Yeah.
and he goes, "This is the threshold to come in."
Yeah,
You
right
can-
at the
you
front
can
door, there's
be-
like a line where the
Yeah.
doors would lock. And if
He's-
you were talking and he walked on them, like, back up. You're
Yeah.
standing on the,
Yeah.
you're
Right
standing
there,
on the line.
right.
You have to back up.
Get that foot over. Now you're outside.
It was so fun. It got to the point
For
where he was
3
like,
years.
"Thank you, everybody. Have a good night." And I took one step down. I was like, just my
He'd
hand
be
on.
on
Yeah,
the
let's
foot
go.
of the stage.
Let's go.
I
Under
know.
Marching past the
I
line.
know. I
And now
know.
stand right here or further.
Yeah,
I was 7 years older than you. It wasn't
know.
even like that much.
it was
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
ridiculous. But you were one of the first people to help me get a job there, so it all sort of evened out.
Nice.
Right on my face.
Right in his goddamn face.
Yeah, we've had a long history of constantly making fun of each other for being Arabs and Jews.
Yeah, it's harder for you because you have to punch up.
You are lucky in that
Punch
you get an ethnicity that has like some cool positive stereotypes. You guys are all
Jews?
smart.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Value education.
Yeah, value education, all successful,
Stunning, good
hardworking.
looking.
Listen, maybe not that one. But yeah, you're like kind of a rock star Jew, I think. You know what I mean? You don't
What?
embody like Woody Allen Jewish stereotypes.
Oh yeah, victim-y Jew. That's not
I
me.
mean, maybe yeah, but you're not like you're fucking like a rock star kind of attitude guy, you know?
I wouldn't go rock star, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean not real rock, like fun rock star, like the lead singer of Fun.
Like the lead
Oh,
singer.
right,
of Fun.
right.
Yeah.
That kind of shit.
You know what I mean?
Like you should go solo.
But you do drugs, you're fucking partying.
Oh yeah. I'm not like my parents.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the same way. You had to clean up from alcohol because you couldn't handle it. And
Right.
what else?
Yeah, I'm nowhere. I'm nothing like that.
You
But that
fuck-
was
you
like
fuck bitches.
I do, yeah. I would.
You
never,
were like
I would
top
never use
5
that
for a
word.
while.
Top 5 what?
Fuckers.
Okay.
Yeah. When you were single and you were drinking, Nick Youssef would fuck. You would go to bars and you would fuck.
Yeah, I
Well, mean,
remember.
I think there's a part of that in like, not even necessarily comics, but just as a man, when you're in your early 20s and you're in a situation like that,
Yeah.
yeah. And if you're single,
Well, I
Yeah,
was also
sure, we
becoming.
all got it once in a
I was
while.
becoming an adult in comedy at like the Comedy Store mainly, so it was like, I had to figure all that out like kind of in front of everybody.
yeah.
You know, it wasn't like, oh, I got that all out of my system in my 20s and now I'm doing comedy in my 30s. But like, yeah, I made all kinds of mistakes and all in front of everyone's eyes. But all that was like a growing up. That was like all like a pushback to try and like be as like
Non-Arab.
as possible.
Yeah.
You're right.
For a long time.
Your parents are both like ethnic like that. They all cook. Like mom cooks that kibbeh and shit.
Yeah, they make Lebanese food at home. They speak Arabic. They're very traditional.
Lahmacun. I still have
Yeah.
to have some of that shit.
Yeah, they don't ever make that, but
Oh.
I know a good place that sells it.
Really?
Yeah, it's like right down the street from me in Los Feliz. But yeah, next time you're in LA, we'll go there. It's like legit food.
Really? I'll
Yeah.
eat that. They have nothing like that in New York,
Yeah.
in Manhattan.
That surprises me.
There's
Yeah,
a few
outside Manhattan, you can
good.
get it.
There's a few good Lebanese spots in New York. There's one near you in the East Village.
Oh, there is?
There's one in somewhere in Brooklyn. Yeah, I went out there and I started searching all the good like Middle Eastern spots and I found a couple.
Well, I'm wrong.
But did you have that sort of thing growing up? Like, did you push back against your?
I didn't until I became not religious, and then it was like, it wasn't like fuck you, I'm rebelling. It was like, oh, what's this world?
Right.
Oh, you know,
Of everything
weed is
else.
good.
Yeah.
You know, their boobs feel wonderful.
Right.
You know.
But
I
were
don't know.
were your parents like strict about your childhood, and they're like,
It was just like what you were supposed to do. There was
Yeah.
no like strict. It wasn't like we need you to do this, but everybody else is not. Like anybody in the school was doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was Orthodox Jewish. Everybody was doing it was the same world.
oh, you didn't go to like a public school.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, it was just like all of us doing the exact same thing. This is just the world. You go to finish high school. You go to Israel for a year or two. You're just gonna.
In hindsight, like when you look back in your life and your childhood and all that, what about that do you feel as an adult was advantageous to you now? Having that kind of like strict sort of, not strict, but like secular sort of upbringing.
Non-secular.
Well, not, yeah.
In like grade
Well,
school.
I'm good at logic because of the Talmud. It's all logic based. So, you know, with fucking 18 years of studying that, you start to like really understand how to do that.
Right. What about like chants and prayers that summon the afterlife, like that kind of thing? Did you learn a lot of that?
Or what about the demons that you conjure up?
Yeah. I don't know what you guys think.
But yeah,
of
like
Jews.
you know, junior high, high school,
Yes,
that
you
sort
do.
of thing. Like you were among your own people, I guess. There was no like.
It was all us.
Yeah, there was
It
no
all
like you're
Jews.
different.
We played against another Jewish school in our league, and then a couple of like private schools.
That had to be some low-scoring basketball games.
sure was,
15-9.
I was center.
15-9.
I was the center.
Double overtime, 15-9.
Yeah, we're still tied at 4-4 in the ninth quarter.
The best was girls' middle school Jewish league, and they would say just head down, dribble to the corner, just
Right.
as hard as they could to the corner, then pick the ball up and panic. And they're just like, what?
That's so
yeah.
funny.
Final score 4-2 every time.
4-2, yeah, 4-2.
You can get that's like a ninth inning run if you get any basket ever.
It's like
So
sixth grade basketball. It's 0-0 at the end of the game, and it's like at a soccer when it's 0-0. They just line everybody up. If anybody can hit a free throw, the game's over.
Layup drills.
Yeah, layup drills.
We called it the Jewish dunk, where you go up and like lay it up and then slap the backboard. That was as close as we could come. Yeah.
Wow. I'd like to see a Jewish
Wow.
dunk contest.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That's as good as we could do, man. And I wanted to shoot threes, and my coach was like, "You're a center." I'm like, "I'm 6'3". I should be a fucking point guard."
No, not in Jerusalem, bro.
You were easily the tallest kid in school,
Yeah.
right?
Tallest, yeah.
By how far? Like 2 feet?
No, there was a couple of people that were 6'1", 6'2".
2 feet.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
looking way down.
Yeah, I had some Israeli blood in me too, so it was tougher.
Wow.
I never met an Israeli girl until like I was like an adult, and I was like, they can look like that.
They look good though, right?
Yeah. You were the one that pointed the difference out to me.
Sure.
At the Comedy Store, you're like, see that girl right there?
She can take
She's
a punch.
from Israel.
Oh, that too. Yeah, that's right. That's my bad. That's a whole nother.
Yeah. But yeah, ever since that conversation, you're like, here's how Israeli girls look, and here's
Those Sephardi Jews are mixed. They got mixed blood. They're not all super inbred.
right.
I probably dated more Jews than both of you put together.
Really?
Yeah, it just seems to be a type of woman that seems to
That's
like me.
interesting. I dated one Jewish girl.
I don't know why Jewish girls like me, but they do. Like,
Yeah.
all you have to do is be my girlfriend, is like, be cute and like me. And I'm like, okay, we're dating.
Yeah, yeah.
That's pretty much the fucking standard. Or it had been. It
Yeah.
had been.
Jewish chicks love me.
Do they?
Oh yeah, to the point where David Taylor, we would like see some girl like look at me twice, and then he would just go up to him like, "Excuse me, just random question, are you Jewish?" And she'd be like,
Yeah.
"Yes, how'd you know?" She goes, "No reason, it's just because they
That's
look at me
funny.
twice."
But you haven't dated a lot of Jewish girls. Are you not attracted to
No, yeah,
Jewish
they're
girls?
they're ugly, but I'll
Totally
the
disagree.
occasional younger
I
one.
couldn't disagree more.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, they're gross, but the super young ones, the youth overwhelms the grossness, so I'll go for it.
Oh, Jesus, you are so unique.
No, I've seen the ones you date, and they're ugly too.
God damn.
Yeah, they're all right, but like, it's just too much like my sister. I can't get
This is
into
just
it.
like
Oh, I should meet your
This
sister.
is just like hating
Yeah.
your hometown. You know, you're like, no, there's like a lot of good stuff here. You're like, no, man, I'm moving to the big city. It's like
Yeah.
that. There's a lot of cute Jewish girls.
There are
A
some.
lot.
Yeah.
There are some, for sure.
You're
But
making
the-
it sound like there's been 3
no,
ever.
but the Jewish look is not a good look.
I mean, sometimes.
For you or for them?
Anybody, it's not great. If you look Jewy, I don't know. Maybe as a man too, but for sure as a woman, it's like
Yeah.
nah. Like
I
who's that
guess
chick
so.
from Star Wars? Who's a Jew?
The
Princess Leia, the new Princess Leia.
wait, she's Jewish.
Yeah, but she doesn't look Jewy.
Right.
So
I
like,
see what you're
fine,
saying.
that's okay.
Like what
Natalie
about
Portman.
What
Natalie
about
Portman.
Yeah, and what about Wonder Woman too? What's
Gal
her name?
Gadot.
Yeah.
She's Israeli.
Oh, that's why
Did
she's
you know
so
I met
hot.
her? Did I tell you that?
What?
Yeah, I met her.
What happened?
Did some horrible movie, and I was like, finally got a moment alone with her, and I was like so nervous. So I was like,
Yeah, you're.
because she's so hot. I was like,
Hi, lady.
my dad's Israeli, and she goes, oh, and I just walked away. Like, damn it.
Oh man! And then how'd you feel right after? she
Terrible,
walked off?
because
How hot is she in person?
super
Stunning.
hot,
Stunning.
super hot.
She
Yeah.
was funny on Saturday Night Live.
It's hard
She had
to
a good
talk.
sense of humor.
Yeah.
Seemed like it at least.
Did
It's
you
hard
say
to
anything to her the rest of the time you were there?
No, but that
Yes.
Isla Fisher girl, I could be that cooler around. She was there too. I could be cooler around her because fucking super hot's over there. So you're like, you're nothing.
Right. Yeah. You're, now
you're lucky for
4.
me talking to you.
Right. That's interesting that you had no, like,
It was all Jews.
no awkward years in high. I can't imagine that. Were you awkward in high school? Did you
we
fit
were all
in?
awkward.
You seem
I
like
think
you would
everybody
have been
was.
friends with everybody.
That's who I was. Yeah,
You were, right?
I was. Every group, like from the stoners to the athletes to the black people to the. I was just always. I was just a funny guy in the back of the class that had no enemies.
You're so much like that now. You fit into everywhere. You can
I
talk
was
to
always
anyone
kind of like
about.
that. But I was very awkward and gangly. I've always been skinny. I've always been. I have no ass. I'm built like an action figure. It's just legs and then back.
Yeah.
You know, so I've always been like insecure about being skinny and stuff like that. But I never was like combative or anything like that.
Right. Yeah, I was not like that.
Who would you hang out with?
Me?
Yeah.
I only ever had like 2 or 3 friends at a time, I think. Like, and not really.
So nothing's changed.
Yeah. I'm not good at like, I can't walk into a setting and just fucking let's all hang out and just talk to anyone about anything. I get really anxious.
Really?
Yeah, I get real like. It was easier, you know, when you drink, you'd have a couple drinks.
I'm the other way. I
edge
get
off.
really anxious when like I'm alone or I'm like I'm not.
Oh, that's where I'm
Like,
most comfortable.
I'm the other
Alone or
Alone's
one
the
or
best.
2 people
Alone's
is the best.
I mean, I like a nice balance of it, but
Yeah.
but if I'm like 4 or 5 days where like I'm not around people, I get
Shut down,
dark.
like, no way, really.
Yeah, I need to be around people. I need to interact with people. It's just how I am.
Yeah. I just got used to that sort of thing. Like, you know, if you're not around a bunch of people who can like, you know, judge you and tell you you're different or whatever, it's that's better than that, you know. And then I'd have like, I remember having like one friend who I was in like 8th grade. His name was Mark something, I can't remember. And we'd hang out and stuff, and like we'd hang out with maybe a couple people. And he was also like friends with all these like skater kids who like were not like friendly with me really.
Yeah.
And I remember he was like going to hang out with them one day, and he like was like, "Hey man, you know, I'm sorry." And I was just like, "Oh fuck." And that was like I knew, I'm like, that'll be the last day we're friends. Because he's gonna want to go hang out with these guys who are we don't want Nick around.
Remember Can't Buy Me Love when he starts going with the cool crew, and then his friends like, why won't you eat with us anymore?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of like when you see those moments in shows, like sometimes you're just like, oh, that doesn't really happen. But it kind of like, it's obviously a heightened version for TV, but like,
Sure.
Yeah, you're the one like left
Let
at
me
the
open
lunch
that. No,
table.
don't open it.
Whatever, you got to open it at some point when he's not paying attention. But yeah, that's like a real thing. But so was everyone friends in school basically? There was no like, none of us are different.
25
in any
people
way?
per class, per grade.
Yeah.
Then I switched to a school with 60 people per grade.
Yeah.
So yeah, everybody's friends. I mean, some people didn't like each other a little bit, but like, yeah, there was nobody like, I don't even.
Wow.
That girl doesn't know I exist. There was none of that.
When was the first time you were called like a racial slur of some kind then?
About 5 minutes. Oh
No.
Last time or first time?
Yeah.
First
and
time,
in 5
yeah, of
minutes.
course.
When I was taking the bus in Wheaton Plaza, and these girls had they bought one of those like punk kids from another school. They had one of those, you know, those birds that would like.
Oh
in
yeah, the
water.
little red things
Yeah.
that'll keep popping
And so
over.
they were behind me, and they were like putting it up to my head, and they were going, "Oh, yarmulke pecker," and they were just kept hitting me with it, and I was like so scared because Jews are victims, and I was like, "Just say nothing. This is how it starts. Say nothing. Don't fight back."
How it starts. This is how it starts.
How big of a snowball effect is there going to be?
Next thing I know, I got numbers tattooed on my wrist.
Yeah.
That's how it
I'm
started
out.
the first
I'm
time.
out.
That's
Why
how it
am I
started
on
the
this
first
train?
time.
Yeah.
My
Yeah,
my
yeah.
dad's grandfather was like, "Hey, enough
A
of
nice
that."
hot
It's
shower
like,
sounds
"I'll show you."
good.
Yeah, it just goes from there. Just gotta let it happen. Jews are great victims, man. We
Wow.
excel at that.
When I was in I think 4th grade, that's when gentrification started, and they would like bus black kids from black neighborhoods to white schools, and that was a big controversial thing. But
Yeah.
what people didn't really ever talk about was there was a small percentage of white kids at that school that had to get bused the other way.
To black schools.
That was me.
No way, really?
So when I was in 4th grade, I could walk to my school, it was 2-3 blocks.
Yeah.
But I instead had to take a bus 40 minutes
To a
like
way worse school?
Black principals, black teachers. All,
Interesting.
and it was like 35 of us that went to an all-black school.
So
while
you were the minority.
I was yes,
at
I
the
went
school.
from I went in and it was just
Is that why?
Did you try like Apocalypse Now to like take over?
yeah. I had like a bunch of black ears made into a necklace.
The principal's like, you're gonna have to not wear that necklace.
This guy's gonna have to pump the brakes.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, I will say, it gave me at a very early developmental age a great openness to when I was older of
To be a racist.
acceptance
Oh.
of acceptance of about how much I like white power. Who else is here? Everybody? No. To just by the time when I was in high school and like in the Chicago area, I was in high school and I don't know 300 graduating class that was like 60% black. It was pretty even, 50
Yeah.
a little more black, but I mean it really not only gave me a good opportunity. I learned how to just joke with different ethnicities,
Right.
and what was a good balance of like what I can and can't say to offend people.
Right.
You know, you could push it to that limit, and you're like, oh, if I go this way, it's offensive. And I think in hindsight, it was a good thing for me. It was very scary for a fucking 9-year-old
Sure, yeah.
to have everything completely different.
Yeah.
But by the time I was 13, 14, 15,
Yeah.
it was nothing.
But yeah,
it
that
really was
level of
nothing.
like social education, you can't fucking get
My
that.
my favorite part about black humor is the just repeat a joke that someone else just made and then
Yeah.
get an equal laugh for yourself.
Yeah.
Like if you're like, why did chicken cross the road to get to the other side? And everyone laughs, and I'm like, he said,
Yeah.
he
It's
said
always
to get to the other side, and then
Yeah.
everyone will laugh the same
Again.
again. The first time I laughed, I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You just stole my laughs.
Yeah, that's joke reparations.
yeah, yeah. And I would say we're even now.
Yeah. All right. That does work though.
It does work.
Yeah. He said and then repeat the joke. Which I guess makes
Yeah.
it that funny if you can do it twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took me a long time to realize you're stupid is a compliment to black people.
Yeah, like, hey.
He's so stupid. I'm like,
Yeah.
say what now?
I once got "you're a crazy motherfucker," and I was like, "Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That is very nice of you."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So how long were you in that school?
Until he burned it down.
Third grade, fourth grade. And
Yeah.
in fifth grade, I moved to what is now my hometown, which is right outside Chicago.
And you were wearing a fucking do-rag, and you had the whole thing.
yeah,
That'd
yeah,
be so
gold
great.
chains, gold chains.
Yeah.
I'd beatbox all my
Yeah.
book reports.
You beatboxed your book. He said beatbox his book report.
Ah, look at that. That's called a callback.
Yeah, there you go.
For blacks and whites, everybody. This is a
Right.
very
It's like rap now.
yeah.
Um,
Of course it is.
So that was your first racial slur. I got called a terrorist
Yeah. Sorry.
on a playground.
When was I in? Okay.
No, not you. Me.
Yeah.
When was I? Yeah.
was I on a
I don't
playground with
remember
you?
knowing you when you were 11.
At what age? At what age?
I think I was like 11 or something.
What was happening then? What
It
were you
was
delivering?
it was the first Trade Center bombing.
But that was a white guy, wasn't it?
No.
And you were wearing a vest
his-
of dynamite.
His name was Ramsey Youssef. We shared the same last name. So this kid came to school,
Oh, that's fair on the
and
kid's
he
part
got
then.
it's
I guess.
fair.
No,
yeah.
if it's the same last
It's like
name.
a black guy calling another black guy the N-word. You're like, nah, they can do their own thing. I have no dog in this
No,
fight.
the guy who called it was white.
No, the
But
kid was
But I'm
white.
saying your last
Oh.
name was the
Yeah.
same. That's like a kid's gonna have to capitalize on that. You
Yeah.
can't blame a child.
But I mean, I guess I would have been like, all right, if it was a joke or something. But he was honestly asking me a serious question. He came to school and was like, "Hey, it was almost like, hey, did you watch The Simpsons last night?" It was that kind of like, "Hey, did you catch up on?" He came up and was like, "Hey, are you a terrorist?" Like it was just like a matter of fact, like just because we're gonna have class later. I want to know if you're.
By the
it
way,
was that matter of fact.
If all interrogation went like that, no one would have a problem with it.
I agree.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that he had your last name, so the only reason he's white is because his terrorist dad fucked a white chick.
With the terrorist?
Yeah.
No, the terrorist wasn't white.
No, I'm saying Youssef was his last name.
The terrorist.
The
last name.
terrorist.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
not
thought
the
the
kid.
kid. Okay, my
no,
bad.
the
okay,
kid's
yeah,
name was
yeah.
like John
I
Smith.
thought,
It
what was
just
the
like some
white guy who
guy.
bombed it? Was that the Oklahoma City?
Yeah, that was Timothy McVeigh.
McVeigh, that was
yeah,
McVeigh,
yeah, hero.
Yeah, stupid.
Come on, guys.
Yeah.
We all agree with certain. All right.
This episode will not be available online now.
I'm just glad no one's getting peed on.
Right,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Not yet. Stanhope burst through the window.
Yeah, like the Kool-Aid guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the Kool-Aid's yellow.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
he-
got called a terrorist.
Yeah, he came up and goes, "Are you a terrorist?" And then I'm 11, so I don't know what that is yet. And I was like, "No, what is that?" And he goes, and so then he starts to explain that his dad told him, because I guess he mentioned me in school. He was talking about students in school, and he mentioned me by my first and last name. And his dad go, "Oh, that." It was probably a joke the dad was making, or
Kid's probably a terrorist.
you got a terrorist in your school or something, because his dad probably watched the fucking news.
Yeah.
And then and he was convinced and started telling other people, like Nick's related to the guy that launched a terror attack on.
Do you think that kid was?
I couldn't figure it out what it meant. I just knew that it was bad to be like from the Middle East after that.
But do you think him telling you that was what made you start planning 9/11? All right, you answer. Sorry. When did you first start planning 9/11? I'm sorry to put words in your mouth.
Yeah, thank you. Don't be so rude.
Actually, in all seriousness, how far in advance did you know that was going to happen?
Yeah.
What's funny is on that day I woke up and then I went back to sleep going, and I woke up and I saw, and they're like, we think it might be a terrorist. And I was so tired. I'm like, I'll wake up when they know for sure. And then I got back up at like midnight.
By the way, that's
Or
the
not
same way I
midnight,
woke up. The first abortion I had to get, where
Right.
it was like up all night, I wasn't able to sleep, and then I woke 10 a.m. She goes, "Okay, it's done." I was like, I can sleep now.
Question.
That's how you were with 9/11. We were like, okay, it all worked.
Yeah.
And then when I went to bed.
Now I'm gonna sleep like I've never slept before. Question: first abortion? You made it sound like you had it's like a weekly thing, like you have like a Subway card where it's
You've
like
had
the
like
10th
6
one
or-
is free. Or
Two.
some
He
shit.
gets like 4 a year.
2.
Is that right?
So then
Two,
every
but
quarter.
But the second one didn't tell me till way afterwards. She was like, I had an abortion like 3 years ago with your kid, and I was like, oh.
That one almost doesn't count though. You got to be there for it and go through it. Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
would you even go back and say that
I
after
know.
3 years?
But I was
Yeah,
like, do you
yeah,
want
yeah.
money? And she's like, no. And I was like, good
Why
job.
the fuck
High five.
I know, yeah.
Why would she even tell you at that point?
I don't know. I mean, why not? It's a good talking point.
Yes.
Is it though?
Yeah, I mean, it's something to talk about.
Had you talked to her throughout those 3 years, or she hit you up 3 years later and then just said that? Or were you like lunch buddies?
No,
and
we were
then-
hooking up in a car, and then she was like, "Hey, just so you know."
That's the perfect time. Like,
Yeah.
and you're hot and heavy. It's like, oh, I should tell you I had an abortion.
Just so you know, you're a lot more fucking fertile than you think.
Yeah, I was like, "Well, get back to
Jeez.
sucking this so I can think this out."
Good lord.
Come on, guys. No, come on. This is brought to you by All Things Comedy, special thanks to Tempe Improv and Chico Malo
to
for bringing this
Thank
together.
you, Chico Malo. Good God.
Thank you, Chico Malo. That was delicious food. by
Have
the
you
way.
guys ever knocked a girl out?
No.
No.
Not that I know of. I hope that doesn't.
I had, like,
don't
one
let,
or two-
has not.
Don't let that change. Aaron, have you?
No, he's
I
trying.
had a scare with Aaron's wife once, about 4 days ago. I fingered her with my dick, and then she's like, "Ooh, we shouldn't be doing this. Aaron's gonna find out about this."
Yeah,
And
right,
then
to
it
walk
was
out.
downhill after that.
Yeah.
I could tell by the look on that lady's face when we looked out that they were gonna leave.
Dude, I did some. I was doing some Las Vegas. Oh, you found another one? That's us done now.
I saved it.
Jesus.
I did some Las Vegas shooter jokes on stage in New York.
Oh, you were telling me about this.
Yeah, the first time it got
Like
some
2
laughs.
days after it happened, in
Yeah,
their
I
defense.
mean, it was pretty quick. And the second time it got audible boos. First it was quiet, and I was like, I guess I'll move on. Then there were boos. I was like, oh, well, now I'm talking about Newtown also. And then
Wow.
yeah.
That was your plan, your backup plan?
I was just like talking
To
about
go
gun
further?
violence in general.
Sure,
And
yeah.
and then they complained about me. They went out
To the
it's like-
club?
Yeah, and they go, the light-skinned black guy was very offensive. Yeah, and they were trying to
That's
figure it out for like a
great.
while.
Did
Like,
you take
who?
that as a compliment?
No, I said they need a better lighting system.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
If you're mistaken for a light-skinned black guy,
Yeah.
what the fuck is up with the lighting in that place?
I don't know. It only comes from like here and there. The right side, you
I
can't
wonder
get
what
anything.
I look like to people on the stage.
You look like a fucking terrorist.
Kind of like a Muppet that's like got
Okay.
good hair.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's your call sign for when they bring you up for your sleeper cell? Like, is there like a specific code?
Ari, if I told you that, we'd need a new call sign.
Damn it, you're right.
So, nice try.
That is true.
Nice try.
That was a nice try. Could have really helped out America.
Does it
a
get
lot.
annoying now, the terrorist jokes?
No, I don't care now. Especially when it's like when your friends do it.
Yeah.
Like I only get annoyed at legitimate ignorant questions people ask.
Like what?
Yeah.
Like when they go like I met a guy and his like wife and sister outside of the Nashville, what's the club there?
Funny one.
Funny one.
Owner's right here.
And where?
Huh? He left.
So this guy comes up and he was like this short kind of rednecky dude with like no neck and like a sleeveless the redneck guy. And then he comes up and he's like, "Hey man," and he said,
Zany.
"Yeah, Zany's not Funny Bone." I
Oh,
knew
yeah.
something was off about that. Okay,
Yeah.
so he comes up and then he goes, "Hey, that was a really funny show. How long have you been doing comedy?" Just like, and everyone's jovial and having a great time. And I go, "Yeah, nice to meet you." And he's like, "What was your name again? I forgot." And I go, "Nick." And he's like, "What's your last name?" And I said, "Youssef." And then he got serious and he goes,
Whoa.
How old of a guy was this?
he was in his like 40s or
Okay,
something,
yeah.
like early
Jesus.
40s.
So young.
Yeah, I mean, not he wasn't an old man. It was just like, okay, you're like stuck in your ways and probably don't know where you are, that kind of thing. And then he was just like, "What is that?" And I was like, "Oh, here we go." And I was like, "I'm Middle Eastern." And he goes, the good kind or the bad kind or whatever. And I laughed, and he didn't smile back. He just stared at me, and his fucking wife and they just kept looking at me. And I was like, I'm from here. And they go, what are you and stuff. And I had to explain that I was Christian and I grew up this way. I had to like, remind him that I'm like, hey, I'm not the kind of Arab to fear or some shit. And that's way fucking worse than, a million of the jokes, we make. Or whatever.
Yeah.
Even if that stranger made some dumb joke,
Because
that's
it's not a
better than
joke.
like
It's not a joke.
genuine concern that the guy you just finished complimenting for 5 minutes is now a guy you can't trust.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's fucking ridiculous.
It's really weird.
Yeah, it sucks from him to have to not trust
Yeah.
you because of what you're planning.
But
Or
yeah,
have
he had,
done- already
he had
done
no
in the
awareness
past.
of
But
that.
to put him in that position is really you
What
should
do
apologize.
you ever get negative like questions or comments about being Jewish? I don't
Yeah,
ever.
sometimes when people like are trying to hurt me online,
Right.
they'll be like, "Oh, how does it feel? Your whole family died in the Holocaust." And I'm like,
Okay,
I
yeah.
don't, that doesn't hurt me, man. I wasn't around.
Yeah, yeah.
That's fine. You're not.
But
You're not
do
getting
you get
me.
like present day sort of like stereotypes or insults about you and your people and your that kind of thing?
Nah, that might be like deep, like Charlottesville kind of south, and that's just those people,
Right.
But like,
yeah.
nah, Jews are like, first of all, in places where they're none of us,
Right.
they don't even know what we look like.
Yeah.
They don't know us to do anything. And in the place with a lot of us, it's like
Yeah.
nobody really cares. Like in New York, they'll be mad like fucking Jews, but when they say that, they're usually right. You know what I mean?
What's an example of that?
It's like they're pushy. Jews are pushy. So if you get cut
Okay.
off in line, it's like fucking Jews. But then same thing with like I'll say fucking Dominicans when they do something fucking Dominican
yeah.
like, you know?
Sure. Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, no, you're not wrong. I get it. That guy was appearing pretty fucking Jewy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Okay. So you hear way more of those.
you know what it's like? You're walking out on that with the Yankees.
Where are you going? Fuckface?
Um,
I had an idea want to pitch him about edible diapers, but we'll talk to Renazizi later. Talk to Renazizi later.
Another one I hear, or not another stereotype, but a question I have that is one I hear a lot of Jewish people refer to themselves as white. How do you feel about that?
I don't feel good. Oh, you're talking to him?
I don't want them encroaching on my where do you find yourself in
They're
that?
like a type of white, sort of.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
don't even know what the answer to that is, and
Yeah,
every
it's an
person has a
ethnicity.
different one. Yeah.
So like you can be ethnically like a few different. It can be Asian, but also like the Rohingya people in,
Well, I don't know.
Myanmar.
What is that?
They're
Yeah.
being like killed in Myanmar.
Okay.
But like they're a different ethnicity, or like in China, the Southern Chinese are, I forget.
Gross.
Yeah, I forget. Or the Catalan people in Spain, like they're still like that. That's similar.
Yeah.
Like racially.
Yeah.
But like ethnically, they're a little different.
Right.
Fuck, I forgot that Chinese type of ethnicity. It's like 4% of China is this, and everything else is Chinese.
Okay.
So it's like ethnically, racially we're white, and ethnically we're Jewish. So it's type of white, I guess.
Okay.
You know?
But like a lower type of.
Yeah. So it's like, are you white or black? That's what it usually boils down to. Are you white
Right.
or black? It's like, no, we're white based on that. But it's like if you give me like 30 things, and it's like I'll pull myself somewhere else.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, I mean, there obviously are more things than
Yeah.
white and black.
But we have our
so-
own type of food, our own type of like.
Yeah, I mean,
you know,
culturally, ethnically, but
currency.
Yeah.
racially, I guess it's like because if you ask, a Jewish person, you'll get a bunch of different answers. But if you ask like a white guy from fucking the South or something, he would be like, Jews aren't white. You
But
you
here
get a lot
it's
of
just white. So say you get somebody from Vietnam and somebody from China, like they look different.
Yeah.
But they're all Asian.
yeah. People would just say those are
Asians. Yeah. But it's like they'd be like, I'm not exactly like them. So it's
Yeah.
the same sort of thing with
Yeah,
Jews.
but when you
We look
narrow
different.
the focus, obviously you're like, no, we're not white, we're this.
Yeah,
So-
and then the Sephardi Jews are more like you.
right.
Would you say you're white?
No.
Some people would.
Yeah, some people. I mean, that's another. It go everywhere. Everywhere I
Yeah.
go, there's a different answer.
If it's down to white or black,
Yeah.
you're white.
I don't think of either of you two
Well,
as
I
white
mean-
or friends.
Yeah, if
so.
you like remove a lot of options,
Yeah.
sure, yeah. If it
Yeah.
comes down to white or
If
black,
you're white or black, then Latinos are black. Asians
Wait,
are white.
what?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't make the
You're
rules.
doing
I
on
just,
shading?
Oh, no, I actually am just making the rules. Yeah,
You are
Latinos are
making
following
up rules.
black. Asians
Yeah.
follow
What are
white.
Mexicans? Black?
Mexicans are black. Asians falling white. Except
this is the most racist thing
except like
possible.
Cambodians, they might be black, but no,
Yeah.
they're all white. They're all white.
Yeah.
They're all white with me.
There's like white supremacists listening, and I go, I could learn from this Ari Shaffir guy.
Hey man, I found a Jew that gets it.
The best is when that Amazing Racist stuff was going on. I was on the cover of the white nationalist website.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Fucking
And-
hilarious.
Get out.
Yeah, and it was a link to my video, and it just
What the
the
fuck?
headline was "Jew boys got the right idea."
Get out of here, Ari.
Yeah.
Did you save that? Is that still up somewhere?
I don't
Every
think so.
3 years, you get backlash. Every about 18 months,
amazing.
a new crop of people find the Amazing Racist somehow on the internet, and they go nuts and think that it's real again.
Yeah, But the best was like they were like, we like what he's doing, but fuck, I wish it came from somebody else.
That's like it's like a time bomb. It's like a time release bomb. It's like the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, I'll just get like I'll wake up to like instead of like 15 tweets, like 75 or 100 tweets. I'm like, somebody found me doing something. It was like some radio DJ found it or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's nuts, man. Yeah, that really. Now, let me ask you this, because I always want to ask you about the Amazing Racist. When you were doing it, it was a funny thing, and the internet hadn't super duper blown up yet.
It was the first viral video. I think it was the first viral video.
Did you
The
know?
very first?
Yeah, because it predated. It was on before that, and then when YouTube started, somebody ripped it from those DVDs and put it on YouTube.
Yeah.
And people were like,
So
what
back
is
then it was like
this?
VHS tapes or DVDs or you
Right.
remember when Jarvis and I had that puppies video? We were playing football with puppies. That thing went all over the place, but it was like all like word of mouth and then you did that and then the internet went nuts. Did you know when you were doing that or have any idea that this was going to be as crazy as it was when you did it?
No, that I'd eventually get a fucking show to cancel me in Canada 12 years later.
Sure.
You know,
Right.
shit like that. No, I had no idea. I was
Yeah.
like, this will be funny and harsh.
You were like literally doing this and like, oh, all my friends will laugh at this.
Yeah, I made
Yeah.
it grand. It was pretty
Yeah,
cool.
exactly.
It was the most money I made.
You wonder what the backlash would be now. Like
I don't
how
think it would
civ-
be what it was. I think it would be much more understood as a joke and a goof now
You
than
think
it was
so?
back
They
then.
wouldn't let you do it now where it looked as real as it did.
It did
If
look
it-
real.
They'd have to make it look
Yeah,
tongue in
it would
cheek,
be
like it's a sketch.
little. Yep. That
If
is
it
true.
lo-
That is
that's
a
what
good
I'm saying.
point.
Is if
Yeah.
it looked that real, how would it be perceived? How would
People would get
handle
so mad. They
Yeah.
would get as mad as they do right now when they just discover it for the first time. Like,
Right.
what the fuck? This is what's wrong with the world.
that? Right.
I think you would have Trump in your corner if you did it now.
He'd be
Yeah,
like,
you'd
"Look,
get a
he'd-
cabinet
he'd-
position.
Yeah, he'd finally be
possibly,
like,
yeah.
hey, free speech,
Yeah.
you guys.
You hear
Yeah.
Ari's working in the White House now?
Yeah. I mean, there's good points, there's bad points. He makes some good
Yeah.
points. He makes some bad points.
Which is why he's the Secretary of State. Ari
yeah,
Shaffir, right?
yeah, Secretary of Defense,
I would,
Yeah, both
Defense
positions
and
Yeah.
State.
I
Yeah,
would
yeah,
love
yeah.
to work in the White House. If I could get laid in the White House,
Oh, dude,
Bro.
that is
Bro.
like
Where's the craziest place you got laid? We're like, I can't believe I just fucked at this place. And don't say Comedy Store. Eric's here.
this predates Eric. I
Yeah,
fucked
yeah,
in
yeah.
every room in that building.
I fucked in every.
Yeah.
There's a lot of places I've.
yeah,
I fucked in-
predates you.
I fucked in
Predates-
what is
okay.
now his office before.
I
Oh
fucked- I
yeah.
fucked
Wait,
in-
where's
yeah.
his office?
You're in the upstairs, right? Yeah.
Way
yeah.
upstairs?
Which one's
Yeah,
that?
there.
Oh, in Mitzi's office?
Yep. The account. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, you're up there.
Yep.
yeah.
I fucked in the stairwell right outside there. They used to lock that, though.
I had sex in the sound booth above the main room.
I had sex in a
Wow.
sound booth above the main room while the show was still going.
No way!
Yeah.
Oh,
What?
that's so much better.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
You
Wow.
win. You win.
Wow, Jill
Yeah.
used to fuck
the
up there.
comments like, "Who's next?"
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, all right, it's moaning.
Yeah. It wasn't like one of the main room shows. It was like a Vargas Mason kind of like a bringer kind of fucking thing,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Wow, that's a good one.
Wow, that is good.
That's
that
a
is
good one.
Yeah. I fucked in a trunk once.
And I pushed her over, then she died.
With the
I pushed her out of
trunk.
the top, and then she was
Stupid.
like, yeah.
Yeah, with the trunk closed because the Jettas had those glow in the dark.
You fucked in a
release.
trunk?
Yeah.
Whoa,
in one of
how?
the Santa Monica, it's like spooning sort of.
How
Spo-
big?
The old spoon fucking a trunk?
Volkswagen trunks, man, they're great. They're huge.
Oh my god.
I would hope so.
Yeah. I fucked outside Mitzi's office once, and then I found Tebow's hat back there. He
La
used to
la la
always
la
wear the
la
same
la
hat.
la 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 la.
And I was like, "Hey Tebow, you fucked outside there, huh?" And he goes, "No, I know what you're talking about." I'm like, "For sure you did." He goes, "No, I didn't." He goes, "Here's your hat. You left it in this fucking dark vestibule where only people go to fuck." He's like, "Yeah, all right." Thanks.
And then in my defense, I'm like, wait, what were you doing there?
Oh yeah.
And he's like,
Looking for hats,
Anyway, here's your hat
obviously,
back. Here's
yeah.
your hat back.
I was getting that D wet.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus. So then you think you're white is what your answer is.
Yeah, white but Jewish also. It's like both. You know, I'm
Yeah.
multi-layered. Nobody's ever one
Whitish.
thing. Nobody's ever one thing.
Yeah,
You
no,
know,
I
you're
don't.
lots
I
of
mean,
stuff.
Whitish.
yeah, you're whitish.
Yeah.
New show to follow Blackish.
Oh my God,
On
I'm so
ABC.
sorry.
What the fuck?
It doesn't sound like you're sorry.
You burp and apologize before you're done burping. That was an apology burp.
My favorite new thing.
Is it?
I don't ask a lot of people this because I don't think most people would probably answer, but I feel like you guys would.
Yeah.
What's the most racist thought you've had and had carried with you for a while?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because everyone has one, but I don't think a lot of people admit it really. Like, oh, I
Racist
used to
thought.
totally think that.
Well, I
boy,
still
that's
think Jews, honestly, are just smarter than other people.
Okay, that's a positive stereotype about your own
Okay,
people.
I tell you what. Other people are dumber than Jews.
Every other ethnicity,
Yeah.
you think Jews are on the top.
Yeah.
What about fucking like Koreans, like Asian culture?
No,
There's
no, no,
Japanese
no, no,
people.
no,
One that I have
no.
today.
So
Koreans,
smart,
good work
right?
ethic,
Is
not
there
that
Japan-
smart.
What
not
kind
that
of
smart.
Asian are you? Filipino. Do you think Asians
got
are
nothing.
smarter than Jewish people?
Yeah.
No?
Well, that's a sign that you might be second smartest because you recognize that.
I mean, I still hold.
Koreans have a good work ethic. Relax with the smart.
Okay.
Run your own fucking bodega. It doesn't make you smart. Run
I think one thing that I know,
But
like
Japanese people.
I find myself
bad.
still like if I'm driving around or
Not
whatever,
bad.
and it's like somebody that's driving bad in front of me, and if I drive by them, I'm like, of course it's a Mexican woman. It's still to this day I hold that Mexican women are terrible drivers.
Okay,
and
that's
I
a
don't
good
know.
one.
It's just from experience, but I know that's a racist thing to think.
Yeah, for sure.
But they've yet to prove me wrong.
for sure.
Racist thoughts
I-
that I no longer think.
No longer think.
Yeah.
Oh,
Or I mean, even if you do, I don't know.
no, just that's one that still pops up that I find myself going, oh, that's
Mexican
actually
woman.
racist.
Mexican woman?
I go, that's racist. But I mean, but it still is.
Yeah.
I do still have that thought when I see a Mexican woman driving and it's a shitty driver. I'm like,
Okay.
oh, of course.
What do
Yeah.
you got?
I had when I was a kid, like the suburb I grew up in was like mostly white.
And you grew up in California.
right out,
just
in
keeping-
La Crescenta, like right
Yep.
outside of like Los Angeles, like 20 minutes out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was mostly white. A lot of white flight happened to there in like the 70s and 80s and stuff.
Sure.
And then some Korean, some Armenian. And I remember there were 2 black kids in our school, and that was it. And then I remember like someone saying like, why aren't there any like black kids in our school? Where do they all live? And none of us had ever traveled outside of. We didn't know.
Yeah.
And some kid was like, a lot of black kids don't go to school. And then he goes, and a lot of them don't go to college or something like that. And then my only experience was ever like watching it on TV. So for a whole school year, I think I believed that no black people went to college. And I would tell people that and stuff. And I was, when you hear a thing, you like go tell people as if you're like, none of them go to college, right?
Honestly,
And I believed it for a while.
yeah.
And then I met my friend's older brother was like, you idiot, that's not true. And I was
Yeah.
like telling people at school that. It was terrible.
I used to think that. I
It was
used to think,
pre-internet. I had no idea.
yeah, and you just spread it.
Yeah,
You're just
I
like,
just
no,
if it
sure.
came up, I'm like, well, we have like the kids in our school, and we're lucky to have them.
Nope.
They're going to school.
I used to think black people were stupid.
Really?
Yeah, for sure.
As far, how long ago was that? Like this morning?
No, for a while. And then when I was traveling through Asia, I thought like they were all gonna steal from me.
This
and
is
stuff.
earlier this year.
Yeah, and then it hit me that I was afraid of outsiders.
Okay.
All right.
And so any new country where they didn't speak my language, I was afraid of them until it hit me like, well, this country is like super Buddhist and peaceful, like it's safer than America. But,
Yeah.
but I still had that fear of like, oh, they're all gonna like rob me.
Oh, that's another one I had. Is for a while I used to think like foreign people with like heavy accents
Smelled bad.
probably weren't that smart.
Smelled bad.
Oh yeah,
that
yeah.
too.
I had that in college.
And it's like, where does that even? It's because my parents have heavy accents and like
Yeah.
they didn't go to college, but like they're not
They're
like dumb. Well, they're not as smart as Jews.
Right.
Um,
I had this woman.
But I'm like,
yeah.
where the fuck does that shit come from? And then you meet people that are like, and you have a conversation with someone with a heavy accent, like they're smarter than I'll ever be.
It's xenophobia. It's like we
It's
have to be
weird.
the smartest, or we have to be the best. Everyone else is
Yeah,
just
wherever
like,
That is
you're
xenophobia.
from.
yeah. My
It's so
we met
crazy.
we met this guy in Denmark, me and Bobby Kelly, and he's from Iceland. And Bobby was like, "Hey, you're a really good comic," and he was like, "Thank you." This guy Ari Shaffir. And he goes, "Dude, for real? Like you should move to America. Like you're good enough to move there." And he goes, "Why would I want to move to America? I have a life and my friends are all in Iceland. What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
And he goes, no, I'm saying you can make it there. He goes, I like my country. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
he's doing fine.
And the idea that you wouldn't obviously want to live in America over any other country is like, it's just this bias we all have.
Yeah.
But I had that in a screenwriting class in college where it was a workshop class. We had to write 10 pages. Everybody gets it. And then 2 days later, everyone gives notes.
Yeah.
And this one woman, she was African. And I would always take notes like, yeah, whatever. And then it hit me towards the end of the semester. She said something that was like really clearly insightful and smart. And I was like, oh, I've been ignoring all your comments all year because of your accent.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, you're actually pretty smart. But it's like,
Yeah.
I couldn't see through that accent. Like, no way can you be.
People used to do that to my dad, like at job sites and stuff, and they would just assume he didn't know what he was talking about.
But he knew
because-
exactly where to lay the dynamite.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he knew where to hide it and when to time it.
He knew how to wire that cell phone right to that
Sure,
briefcase.
yeah. He's like, this is where the foundations are and how the building will come down.
yeah. Trust me, everything collapses on itself.
Right, yeah. But yeah, they would give him shit or
time.
just second guess him, and he would
Yeah.
be like, "I know this better than anyone here. Just because I don't speak English doesn't mean." And you'd have to hear a lot about it. Yeah, his frustrations with people, and then And you would just have to work harder and show them who the fuck was boss.
Eventually, they'll break that down. When you actually get to know somebody face to face and you actually see them as a human, then it's like, oh, I get it. You're just a person.
Yeah.
But until people do, then it's like you're this other.
Yeah.
That's actually what it is. You're like clarified in this like mystery zone for me.
Sure, yeah.
And until I personally get to know you,
Right.
And you can prove to me that you're not some sort of threat
Or
to
caricature.
or anything. Yeah. You're just like this in the like ambiguous other zone.
Yeah.
Everyone needs a version of what you had, like going to another like school or part of town where everything is like flipped in reverse, so you can experience.
But
how
you know, if
different
that had
people
happened to
live.
me when I was 19 or 18, it would have been different because I those formidable years where you're 9, you're not biased towards anything really. You're just like a kid.
Yeah, you're
they were
still
just
open
kids.
You gotta learn that later.
They were just kids.
Yeah.
The difference was one jump rope in my white school, double dutch when I went to the black school. That was the only difference.
That's funny.
They're faster at jump ropes. That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
That was it.
I do remember when I would go play basketball in the park, Sligo Creek Park, and I was long, and I was younger and I was pretty good. And when I block people's shots, they would just call it a foul. If I blocked it out of bounds, but they get the ball anyway, they'd be like, I will not accept being blocked by some white kid, some Jewish kid. So it's like, that's a foul. It's like, whatever. It's your ball either way.
That's
A
funny.
lot of fights have been caused by people self-refereeing games.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of fights.
I
A
gotta
lot
hit
of
the fence.
shootings.
We could have a basketball rematch.
Yeah, we do. Practice.
I have a
Do you have to
40-yard
go?
dash rematch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Head up there.
Oh, it's already 4:10.
Oh,
Yeah,
let's
let's wrap it up.
that's great, that's
yeah,
great.
We're done. This was good. Thank you for doing it, both of you.
Yeah.
Ari Shaffir.
Oh, yeah,
Jason
I'm sorry I
Thibault.
opened your
Do
Coke.
you
I
want
love you.
to,
Hang on, we
do you
got
wanna
something special
fart into
happening.
the mic?
And
Okay,
there it
you just
is.
farted.
Yep.
Do you
There
want
it is.
to plug anything or whatever? I'm releasing this on Tuesday.
What I want to plug is this right here. There's got to be some sort of.
You got to take care
Yeah.
of that. Yeah,
You need some hair
That's
plugs.
really bad.
Yeah. It's
We
like
saw that blow up in
close.
Rogan's face, though. Just own
Close
it.
where he's got the
what?
line down
Just
the
take
back
the
of his
skin
head.
yarmulke, bro.
What? Oh,
You think that works?
like Bill was over there going like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, "Wait, did we not?"
They run commercials. You're not watching it.
Yeah.
I thought it was something we said. He's like, "Come on, guys."
I
get
want that stem cell to get going. The stem cell research.
Good luck with that. You need a new
So you
president.
just rub it in and just grow like fucking,
An arm out of
Wait,
the back of
stem
your
cells
head.
your
for
high
hair?
Yeah, for sure. Why not?
He's got a big arm right here. It's just
Yeah.
picking shit up. I
Wow.
would love an arm out of my head.
Yeah, I want that
Um,
real mohawk back. Not that fucking skip a step mohawk.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, I got a podcast, Punch Drunk, that I do with Thibault.
Yep,
Talk
Punch
about
Drunk Sports. Check that out.
Uh-huh.
Of course, Skeptic Tank.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's mine too.
And my new pod, 92.7 The Pod, which comes out at the end of the week.
I'm excited about that.
On All Things Comedy. Check
That's
that
gonna
out.
be really
Ari's on the
good.
first episode. Yeah, I'm very excited
Yeah.
about it. So check
It's
that out.
it's
gonna
like
be really
a
funny.
it's like a fake
Fake
local-
morning radio
local
about a
morning
fake
radio.
town.
Yeah. It's gonna be really funny, dude.
Yeah, I'm
doing it
excited.
good.
Man. Thank you. Man.
92.7 The Pod.
Yeah.
I went on there to promote my shows that week in the local
Yeah.
town. And
That's
he
Yeah,
gave
he
me
was the
he
comic.
had all the
yeah.
lead-ins like,
That's
oh,
really
so
good.
your grandmother recently. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
Jesus.
It's gonna feel like classic, like your grandparents talk about like radios in the 40s and 50s,
Sure.
like those shows, and you're like, how is that how people got entertainment? But like this is gonna be like the
Yeah,
2017
throwback
version
to that.
of that.
Yeah, all the commercials are fake. All the
Yeah, dude,
sponsors
it's
are
gonna be
fake.
so-
all the
it's gonna
guests
be
are
so
fake.
funny.
And everybody in All Things Comedy is involved in it.
Yeah.
Everybody's playing different parts and characters. So
Yeah.
it's really elaborate, but it's going to be a lot of fun. So tune into that as well. And of course, Punch Drunk Sports.
Okay. And then we got to thank Stand Up Live, the Tempe Improv, Chico Malo, everybody at All Things Comedy who
This has
helped
been a
put this
wonderful
thing on.
festival. So
This has
everybody,
been
thank
really,
you so much.
really fun. And thank you to everyone that came to this live recording.
Hey, let's all kill ourselves.
Yeah.
Suck it.
All right, I'll head next.